Welcome back to another video. 75 hard. Let's talk about it. We'll be going over what it is, what my results were, if I would do it again, and kind of the biggest takeaways that I had from doing the challenge. So, what it is exactly what it sounds like. It's a 75-day challenge that is very hard. It's definitely difficult. This challenge was created in order to create like mental discipline from actions that really aren't that intense, but all compounded together and happening every single day, and not being able to take a step back off of it is what makes this challenge so difficult. I myself had some modifications that I made to it, and there was another creator that I didn't see her video until after I had already completed my challenge, and then I went back and watched her video. I'm gonna drop a link to the video down below just so you guys can go watch it. But the way she put it is, any modification to this challenge is no longer a 75 hard. It makes it a 75 soft. And that's what I did. I kind of made some modifications to it in the way that the progress pictures wasn't one of the things that I was really focused on. It wasn't something that I was going to be doing every day. I kind of just, for me, it was just, beginning progress picture and end progress picture. And that was it. And then the reading, I wasn't reading the pages of a book. To me, I was doing the fitness stuff. So the 2 workouts, and then I was drinking water. And then another thing was, if you mess up one of the steps, you have to restart. You guys will see why that's kind of crucial in a little bit, but overall, there was one more rule was following a diet plan. So the diet plan, the water, and the workouts is the thing that I was focused on, and that's what I was like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. Like, these are the steps that I'm gonna take. But then she put it in perspective of you while you modified it, so you're no longer doing the challenge, which in seeing it now is true. I'm not really completing the actual 75 hard challenge, so take that as you wish. So now I guess we can call it 75 soft, whatever we want to call it, but it still was extremely difficult to do this challenge, even with those things that I kind of changed. So the next part is the biggest takeaways that I had from this challenge. I think that we as people often underestimate what we're capable of, or we have a lot of self-doubt in the beginning. This is something from influencer that I follow on TikTok. He's really big on TikTok. His handle is Higher Up Wellness, but he talks a lot about not having the evidence to back up your ability to be confident in what you're doing, or when you say you're going to do something that you're not going to do it. So this kind of creates this challenge. I think helps you get to that point of being confident, of saying, hey, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to go and do it. So I think we as people a lot of times doubt when we say we're going to do something, that we kind of already have that built in of like, I don't know if I'm actually going to do it, or I don't know if I'm actually capable of it. But I think that we are definitely capable of a lot more than we lead on, as people, just everybody in general. Throughout this challenge, there was definitely days that I had where I was like super out of it and very tired, and was like, I can't possibly, like, I just can't do it. Like, but I would force myself to go. I had a really bad back injury. I kind of get them every kind of 6 months. I throw my back out and I really can't move. And it was already late in the day. I don't remember when this was. It was like around day 40 something, where my back is in excruciating pain. So I was doing stretches and in bed, like I was in bed all day. Luckily it was on a weekend, so I didn't have to work, but I was in bed all day and I couldn't move, couldn't get up. And then finally around 8 o'clock, the pain felt a little better. I had been taking pain medication all day. I had been doing stretches all day, and then finally the pain kind of let up a little bit, and I took some extra pain medication, and I was like, now that it's kind of feeling a little bit better, I'm going to the gym. So I got up and I went to the gym. I did my weight training session, and then I did 45 minutes of cardio that at the time was Stairmaster. But it was kind of obviously if it wasn't for the challenge, it's not beneficial to go and start lifting weights whenever you're injured. But I did stuff that I knew wasn't going to aggravate my back any further. So to me, it was fine. It just wouldn't have been the normal, but it was forcing myself to, okay, there's an excuse. Here's a reason why I can't go, or an excuse of why I can't go, and we just have to look past it. So this is an extreme situation. Obviously, if you're injured, you probably shouldn't be in the gym. But to me, it was more of a mental battle of, I'm feeling good enough right now to go to the gym. So I went and I did it. Also, my nephew's graduation, we had gone to his graduation, and I needed to go to the gym still. It was like 8 o'clock, I think, but I wake up at 5 in the morning for work. So it was any other day, any other time, I would have been like, oh, it's fine. Like, I don't need to go to the gym, or oh, it's fine, I can take a rest day today. I had something else that was going on. But it just shows you that you can make a million excuses as to why you can't do something, but it's really just going through it. Like, you have to go to the gym, or you have to do this thing, whatever the case is. It's not necessarily just the gym, but for sure you have to do what you said you were going to do. So I said I was going to go to the gym, so I went to the gym. um, Another thing that I think was difficult throughout the 75 days was the social pressure that you get from everybody else. I feel like in the beginning, people are like, "Oh yeah, that's so cool that you're doing it. You're doing this challenge." And then it's like, whenever you go out, I'm not a big drinker, but whenever we had a few family parties actually that lined up within this challenge, and it was, oh, like, you're not gonna drink, oh, just one drink. And it's like, sometimes you would have just given in, all right, yeah, I'm just gonna drink. But that was one of the rules of the challenge, was not having alcohol. So I didn't have any alcohol, I didn't drink. And then when we would they catered in food. We had tacos brought in for the party. But I brought some separate, like, carb balanced tortillas to eat with the taco meat. So when they gave me the meat, I took it inside, I weighed it out, and then I added, my own tortilla to it to make it better calories. And regardless, more the point that I want to focus in on is that you don't want to give in to the peer pressure of, whether you're out drinking with friends, or whether out having food. It's not worth that instant gratification. So it's not worth to sacrifice your own goals and aspirations that you have, whatever you're trying to accomplish. It's not worth sacrificing that stuff in order for a moment of gratification. It's like, of let's say you would have had a normal taco with, you would have put all this salsa on it, this avocado and this cheese and all this stuff, and it's like, oh wow, it tasted good, but then later on you fail yourself in a way that it really wasn't worth it. Next part is that being prepared is very important, not just for starting the challenge, but for anything you're doing. Starting the challenge, I was kind of a spur of the moment. It was like a day before, but we already had stuff that we were gonna meal prep anyway. So it was like, but that was a key thing, is being ready to meal prep, and knowing exactly how I was gonna be doing it. What times I was gonna be going to the gym, and what time I was gonna be doing the other workout. It was just having everything kind of lined up, but also, for things like that family event, of being prepared with taking my own food. So there was another family event where we went to a pool party, and I took my scale, I took my drinks that I could have, just diet sodas. I took some diet sodas, and I took the tortillas also for that. So it was just being prepared in that way of, like, setting myself up to be able to stay with my goals, even though we were in a different environment. We weren't at home, or I wasn't at work. It was like where food was a little bit more tempting, or it wouldn't have been such a big deal to have a drink, but I set myself up and prepared in order to stay on track and stay within my goals and calories, and the diet plan that I had set out. So the next part is the results. I think this is the most important part, because this is kind of the big takeaways of this entire challenge is the results. Everybody sees these crazy, oh, day 1 and day 75. These are my big changes, my big differences. So the results is, ultimately I failed the challenge. So I'm sure you guys can look back into the video, I'm sure that was uploaded right before this one, where I have a pool day routine, but I did talk about how I failed the challenge in that one. And it was just purely due to laziness. I had already done one of my workouts and I just didn't go do the second one. I don't know why in the moment I didn't go. It was a super long day already. Like it was a day that I was like pulling weeds already. We were cleaning up the house. I cleaned up the garage. We went and picked up groceries. We meal prepped everything, and then I had gotten in one of my workouts, but I didn't go do my cardio session. I didn't do the cardio session afterwards, or vice versa. It was. I mean, it's been a few days already since the challenge ended, but I either didn't do the weight training session or I didn't do the cardio session. Either way, I hadn't done one of them. But I did fail the challenge, but I didn't let that stop the progress that I had already built. I didn't let that stop my momentum. The next day it was okay. Like I didn't complete that, and 2 weeks after that day, I think that I had failed, we still were going on our honeymoon to Hawaii. So I was still focused on that. I still had the goal to lose more weight by Hawaii. And I think another thing that played into kind of the, I guess, weakness of the mind that day was I had already gone 2 weeks without the scale going down. Like it would fluctuate up and down a pound, but it wasn't really moving. And I'm not sure what that could have been due to. I was tracking the calories the exact same. I was losing weight, and some people said like, oh, if you would have just pushed on for another week, you would have seen the scales start to go down. And I believe that. I'm sure that the scale would have started going down again. It was just a small plateau that I was in, but after that, I had our Hawaii trip, so I didn't really get to see the scale continue to go down, but I ended up losing 30 pounds. I have the day 1 and day 75 photos. Like I said, those are the photos that I did take. So I'm going to, that's what you guys are looking at on the day 1. I noticed the biggest difference from day 1 to day 75, and really like the lower part of my neck, and also in under my chin. I feel like that's where I noticed the biggest difference. My clothes was definitely fitting a lot better. 30 pounds is a big deal. And before this challenge, I had already lost another 30 pounds. So it's not like, people will be like, oh, well, the first whatever was water weight. Not really, because I had already lost 30 pounds. I was already in a deficit. The 75 was kind of in the middle of the road kind of challenge that I wanted to do was, okay, I've already lost some weight. Let's keep going with more. Like, let's go at it harder. And so I had lost an additional 30 pounds. So I was down 60 pounds. So I think even though I failed, I was a lot better off having failed the challenge than never having started at all, because I still made progress. I still, got closer to my end goal, which is to get down to the next goal that I have is to get down to 235. So it got me closer to that goal. And that's really all I can say about the results is, it didn't end up, or, I didn't complete the challenge, but I may have failed the challenge, but I didn't fail myself. I still made progress, and I pushed myself further than I thought I would have gone. But, it's still beneficial regardless. And then, now is the question of would I do it again? I don't think that I would do the 75 hard challenge again. Not that I wouldn't do any sort of challenge like this again, because I already have one in the works. I'm trying to do a 100-day transformation that I'll be starting within a week now. But that's going to be not so intense. It's not going to be 7 days a week. So in a way, I'm doing something like 75 hard challenge. It is going to have rules, but the rules are set by me. So it's not so much a challenge. It's just really a transformation. And it's trying to push the things that I did in 75 hard to make them more of a habit instead of, something that I have to do because of a challenge. It's more of I have to do it in order to take care of myself. I'm trying to get to a better health point. So The end of the year goal is to be down to 240 pounds by the end of the year. I'm sure we'll be able to do that because right now I weighed in at 280.6 at the end of the challenge. So it's another 40 and a half pounds to go to get to 240 pounds. And then when I hit 240, I'll be down 100 pounds overall. That hasn't been over one, or by that point, by the end of this year, it won't be over 1 year. It'll be like a year and like 3 or 4 months about of weight loss. But, we are still pushing. And, I say now that I won't do another challenge, but who knows? Maybe I will do another 75 hard. But on the horizons is the 100-day transformation that I'll be doing. But there'll be a video on that. So thank you guys for watching. Comment down below if you guys have done 75 hard, or if you guys think you might do it. I'm sure you guys have seen videos all over about the transformations, and it really is crazy. I don't think that. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys comment down below if you guys have done 75 hard, or if you're thinking about doing it. Let me know what you guys thought about my challenge. Make sure you guys like the video, share with your friends. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, and stay tuned for the following transformation that I'm going to be making. We're still pushing through the end of the year, so I'll catch you guys in the next video.